Yo, it's Zero, and this is what if Shoyo was a volleyball prodigy? Part 3. I know you guys have been waiting on this video, so here it is. In the last part, we left off with Karasuno taking 2 wins in the winter tournament as they are now facing Alba Josai with their ace setter, Oikawa. But before any of that, if you like these type of videos and you want to stay up to date when I do drop them, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So, without any more wait at all, let's get started.
Let's get it. I'm a trapping fanatic, that shit automatic, so I cannot turn it on or off. Bitches all on my dick, then she hop on my dick. I'm like, why you keep hopping on and off? Yo, bitch all on my dick, she be doing the most. I tell her, little bitch, she so extra. And my gun up on me, but not run up on me. Niggas, they wanna fight, they some wrestlers. And you know 30K got the mop. Sacked up, yeah, I got them knots. Act up, get your body in a box. Told the demon, you know how I rock.
The taller player with the purple jacket then walks away from him, declaring that if their 2 teams face off in the finals, his will win. Hinata then says the same as he walks away. For now, I'll just be skipping to the next match against Alba Josai. Just know that a little bit of training and resting went in between. As the 2 teams bow to one another, the match would then begin. Karasuno serves it over, and Kunimi gets the ball as it would then float over to his setter, Oikawa. Hinata sees the look in his eyes as it looks more like he's getting ready to score instead of set someone else up. So, he jumps for a block without the rest of his team. Most then thought that this was a dumb decision, but Hinata gets the block on a surprise Oikawa who went for a spike. He looks through the net and then down at the shorter player as he would say, "What the hell are you, some kind of freak?" Hinata smiles and tells the setter to be more aware of his surroundings before pulling something like that, which would definitely get under his skin. Alba Josai then gets another receive, and this time Oikawa sends it to Iwakazumi. The spiker hits against the block and Hinata yells out, "One touch!" Daichi bumps the ball to the right and Kageyama jumps to set. He is fixated on Hinata, but the blockers see this as well, so he sends it to the closer Tanaka in the middle as he's still blocked. However, the ball goes out of bounds, getting them another point. As he was celebrating, Hinata walks over to him and whispers something in his ear for the next play. Karasuno serves the ball over again, and then Oikawa dumps the ball. Kageyama makes a perfect dive for it, and it gets it up. Oikawa then looks around and sees Hinata, who stared at the ball before sprinting that way with incredible speed. No, he can't be. Oikawa follows him all the way over there, and Hinata fakes a spike as he then sets it to the wide open Tanaka, who gets a perfect line shot. Kageyama smiles while still being on the ground and then sees a hand in his face. As he looks up, he sees the determined face of Hinata. "Let's win the tournament together, Kageyama." He nods and then gets pulled up by his teammate as the 2 teams go back and forth until Karasuno is at set point with Kageyama's serve. He thinks about what type of serve that he wants to do and decides to try something new. He tosses the ball high into the air and jumps as hard as he can. Kageyama hits the ball with power and slams it on the opposing team's line, winning them the set. During the water break, Karasuno then subs out Hinata to give him a break, and he has the assistant coach help him stretch while he waits to go back in. As the second set goes on, it's clear to Hinata that Oikawa is their ace. He makes the play happen in whatever way he wants it to. If his teammates mess up at all, he makes up for it with his calculated serves. He makes players that don't seem valuable hold a value that was previously unknown to them. He makes players, their best versions. When he gets back into the game, the score was about 13-17, Alba Josai, meaning that Karasuno was losing right now. Hinata then goes in for Asahi, which surprises the ace. As he gets to the bench, he's a little sad. Because of this, Ukai reassures him that he will go back in the game. He just wants to see what Hinata can do if he's actually put in the ace type of position. The ball is served over to Karasuno, and before Noya can even react, the fast speed of Hinata pops the ball up to Kageyama as the setter sends the ball to Suki, who gets it past the blockers, but the libero on the other team would get the ball up as it's returned. Noya then bumps it high, and Hinata smiles. "It's mine." His demanding voice causes all of his teammates to stop moving, feeling as if they have to obey. He jumps as high as possible over the blockers. "Don't worry, I see you back there. You want the ball so bad? Then have it." Hinata makes eye contact with Oikawa, who is moving to receive a spike, but as the ball is sent right at him and he tries to receive it, it's knocked out of his arms and goes out of bounds, hitting the wall behind him. As Hinata would land back on the ground, the gym was completely silent until you hear, "Let's go!" Hinata yells with excitement, getting the crowd pumped up as well as his teammates. Ukai lets them know that they're still losing, so they need to focus, and this slaps Hinata back into gear, as Karasuno then serves the ball to the opposing team, who would get it to their setter. Hinata is not focused on his movements, but his eyes and his hands. Oikawa sends the ball left, and Hinata shifts his body to get the receive, and that's when it happens. Kageyama then gets the ball and sends it to Daichi, who's blocked, but it's still in. As Suki bumps it back into the air, Kageyama can feel it. He's across the court, yet I can feel him asking for the ball without saying anything to me. We're the same age, yet he's a monster. Kageyama would then have many flashbacks to his childhood, and how he looked up to Oikawa, but all of that would shatter in the next panel if this was an anime, as we would then see him thinking about Hinata and all the points that he scored with his skill and his strength. I want to become a monster too. I want to be like him as well. So Hinata, will you show me how to do it? In this moment, a vital change happens to Kageyama as he decides to become a dominant player in the sport of volleyball, so he can help his team win at will, so he can decide the outcome of a game before it even begins. Hinata was already in the air, and the two performed their first back row freak quick attack, that took a lot to say, that stuns everyone watching. The ball moves so fast that the players on the opposing team don't even get to move before it hits the ground. Hinata and Kageyama stare down their opponents as they would have the same thought: we will win. Ukai doesn't have any words for this duo at all, so he laughs and sits down, leaving the second set in the hands of the players to see what they can do, as they are up one, and he wants to see if they can coach themselves in a way, as he knows he doesn't have to say much, as they're all focused right now. Karasuno serves it again, and Alba Josai struggle to gain another point with Hinata in the back row on defense with Noya. It's like they have two liberos that will give up their bodies to keep the play going, the twin guardians of Karasuno. Noya gets the ball back to Hinata, who then sets it to Suki. This was a higher set than usual, and Suki could tell. Oh great, now I have to get it or this freak is gonna bother me about it later. Suki jumps higher than before and spikes the ball down over the blockers, getting them another point. Now Karasuno was only 1 point behind their opponents. They then would serve the ball again, and this time the players mess up the receive as it's sent out of bounds. Oikawa would run that way and sets it all the way across while falling. Iwakazumi gets the ball and expects it to be wide open because of all of Karasuno's players were shocked. Well, it was wide open, except for two people in the back row looking right at him, Noya and Hinata. Iwakazumi tries to spike it, but Noya gets the ball up again, and Hinata gets a freak quick set to Kageyama, who spikes it down, scoring it for their tying point. Hinata walks over to Noya as they would high-five while smiling. Since the morale of Alba Josai is down, I really do think it would be an easy win for Karasuno in the second set. In canon, I think they lost, but I'm gonna check just to make sure. Yeah, they definitely did lose here, so this is where they move on to the next round, giving Alba Josai a devastating loss. And I did find out what team they'd be facing next for the finals, which would be Shira Torizawa. And I'll make it the finals, even though I think it wasn't, for the simplicity of the what if, as we can just skip to the next day, as this is when Hinata was zoned in while warming up and stretching. This is when the opposing team walks in, as he sees the person who talked to him the day before. Hinata walks away from his team, and then walks over to Ushijima. "So, you made it to the finals as well." Tendo steps in and starts to make fun of Hinata for being a little bit shorter than them, even though it wasn't by that much. Hinata then pays no attention to it and tells Ushijima to not hold back during this match, as he won't either. Karasuno decides to go with the lineup that helped them beat Abajosai, which means Asahi isn't a part of the starting lineup. You guys may not like that, but in canon we've seen Ukai put his third years on the bench for many of his first year players who have outgrown him, and this is especially seen with Suga, who isn't the starting setter anymore. So, coaches do what's best for the team, and the only reason he leaves Daichi as a starter is because he brings the team together as their captain, and he knows he's a vital role. He coaches them while playing. But enough about that, let's start with the match, as that's what you guys are probably waiting to listen to. Shiri Torizawa serves it to Karasuno, and the ball is received by Noya. Kageyama sets it across to Hinata, and Ushijima is a part of the three-man block in the middle. Since Hinata was on the left side, he switches it to his left hand, which kind of shocks Ushijima, as a cut shot would then happen, and Tendo remarks how skilled he is to be on a team that wasn't that good. His coach then says that he should have come to their school, and after they beat this team, he will realize it. Karasuno then serves it over, and Goshido gets it, he gets the ball up, as it's then bumped to Ushijima. Hinata smiles at this, because while he tries to block the spike, it's still sent far away. And I thought my spikes were hard. His are even stronger because of his size. He's a real monster on the court right now. Tanaka sends the ball back up to the front row, and Hinata then jumps for it. Shiri Torizawa's players wait to see where he was setting it, but Hinata changes his form from a set to a spike and slams it down right down the middle for another point. Ushijima looks down at Hinata, and he turns his head, as Tendo looks at his coach as he's then subbed in. Immediately, he tries to get in the head of Hinata, but he's ignored, as Karasuno serves it over. I don't even know how to say this name, but one of the players on Shiri Torizawa gets the ball to Goshiki, their setter, I think. Yeah, that's how you say his name, I think. Who sets it to Ushijima. Hinata and Suki manage to get a one-touch block on it, as Daichi is the one who gets the ball to Kageyama, who then sets it back to Tanaka. He's blocked, but the ball is recovered by Hinata, who hits it with his chest as it goes right to his setter. Kageyama and Hinata jump, and Tendo runs that way, but Kageyama then dumps the ball, getting his team another point, as Hinata then walks over and the two high-five, as Tendo hears the voice of Suki. "With that style of blocking you use, you'll never be able to read those two. It's too chaotic." Suki then walks away, and the next serve, Tendo goes to spike, but he's blocked by Suki. He tries to irritate him, but it doesn't work. Time and time again, Shiri Torizawa is shut down by the players of Karasuno. The score was now 12-19, and it was clear to those watching that Karasuno's team has a new set of wings, and the players that they have will conquer all odds and make them win this tournament. It's Hinata's serve, and he looks down before staring at the lights above him. I love this feeling. I don't want it to end yet. So, show me that you want to keep playing too, Ushijima. Hinata tosses the ball high and sends it right to Ushijima. The ace gets ready to receive it, which kind of shocks Hinata because he hasn't seen him do that. But the ball drops right in front of him, revealing that it was a floater. And Hinata gets an ace point smiling. With his next serve, he adds power and sends it in between two players, causing a little bit of confusion and getting him another point, as this is when Hinata wins them the first set with 6 straight aces. As his team congratulates him, they then return to the bench, looking at their coach, as he would say, "Sub me out." Ukai nods and looks towards the older ace. "Asahi, you're in." The ace stands up with excitement, excitement with getting ready to get back in the game, of course. The second set begins, and Shiri Torizawa gets the first serve as Ushijima notices that they subbed out Hinata, and he takes advantage of this by doing some of his most powerful serves. This serve is almost received by Noya, but it goes out of bounds as the fans would cheer and go crazy for him as he sends it again, and Noya barely gets it this time. And the only reason he's able to do this is because he's used to, practicing with Hinata. And because of the position that the ball was going in, Kageyama had to move out of position to set the ball to Tanaka. But it was still a really good set, and the wing spiker is still blocked as Daichi has to dive for the ball. Kageyama runs back and then sets it to Asahi, who's blocked by Tendo and 2 other blockers. Ushijima then takes over in the second set by helping his team score 8 points in a row before Karasuno calls a timeout. The players are silent as they look over at Hinata, who has a towel on his head. They expect him to be angry, but he starts laughing and making fun of them. Man, don't tell me you guys are really gonna play volleyball like that. What a joke. Man, if you're gonna play like that the whole set, at least play good. I've seen you all play better and actually have fun while you're playing. So why don't you show me that right now? His team then starts to laugh as well, and this is where Hinata stands up. Hey coach, can I go back in? Ukai nods and subs out Asahi, who's pretty depressed by this and still not being able to score, as Ukai then begins cheering him up while they watch. Ushijima serves the ball, but this time, Hinata steps in front of Noya and gets a perfect receive on it. Kageyama was shocked as he doesn't have to move this time, so he sets the ball right to him, performing a quick frick attack that was too fast for Tendo to react to, as he looks at Hinata, who stares him down before turning around. Karasuno serves the ball over as Tendo receives it, sending it to their setter, as he then sets the ball to another player who's blocked by a 3-man wall. Hinata then feels it. In the next set, it's going to be a battle between him and Ushijima. A battle between aces is now going on between this match, and as he predicted, the ball goes to the ace of the opposing team, as Hinata gets fired up, watching him rise over the blockers, but when Ushijima hits the ball, a hand appears in his way, as Suki gets another point for a stuffed block on the ace. This sort of bums out Hinata in a way, but he gets over it quick, and thinks it's selfish of him to think this way. This isn't a 1 versus 1 sport, as there are way more people on the court right now. And the second set goes on with mostly Hinata and Ushijima scoring. It gets to the point where both teams are tied, and they're at 24 points each, with Shiri Torizawa's serve being, going on right now. As Tendo sends it over, and this time Kageyama gets the receive, sending it to Hinata. The two perform a quick frick attack that's blocked, but Noya saves it from hitting the ground by using his foot, and now Kageyama was setting. Hinata fakes a jump into the air, throwing off the blockers as he would run to an open side of the court. As Kageyama jumps for the incoming ball, the blockers follow Hinata, so he dumps the ball, as now they were at match point with Hinata serving. He looks up as he then thinks about it. He can taste it in the air while he licks his lips. The smell is so intoxicating, he thinks. Almost addicting. What is it, you might ask? Victory. All 5 of his senses could feel it coming. As he throws the ball high into the air, he slams it down as hard as he can towards the ace of the other team. Ushijima gets ready to receive it, but when the ball hits his arm, it rolls off and hits the wall behind him, as the spin that was put on it was unpredictable, and it helped the ball move way faster than he could have predicted for. He wasn't even ready for it. In this moment, everyone was quiet. Daichi walked off the court to his friends as they all began crying, and this is when the crowd will begin to go wild as they cheer for the Crows of Karasuno with excitement. Their coach stood in amazement at the players on the court that he's gotten to coach and see grow. Everyone was celebrating except for one player on Karasuno, Hinata. He stood there wondering if this is what he wanted, an uncontested victory. Is this the moment he's waited his whole life for? Asahi then walked to Hinata and put his arms around him. Great job, Ace. Hinata smiled as the two would walk over to the rest of their team. And after the two teams thank each other and the refs for the match, two people come up to Hinata. It was the Miya twins. Hinata! Atsumu shouted his name while jumping on his back, making him fall to the ground. What? Atsumu? Osamu? Why are you guys here? You really forgot, huh? We have a winter break camp this week. You already know that. And this is where I want to end the video. If you don't mind, can you guys actually remind me what would happen after I make this filler arc? The only reason I put this filler arc here is so the next video could be kind of long, because I think the next one might be the end of the series, as I think what I've covered so far is season 1 and 2 maybe. So I think the next one will be like, would it be this? Actually, I don't know. The next one might be the spring tournament, and then the nationals, I think. But I think I'll only cover up to the point when they face the Miya twins. But you guys can remind me the rest of it. Well, just put it down in the comments. I'll read them. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, as I really do have fun writing. Well, other than like shonen anime, I really do enjoy writing sports anime, and suggest some other anime that you might want to see me do what ifs for as well. If you want another part for this video, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new or just haven't done that already. And subscribe to my second channel if you don't mind as well, as I hope you all have a great day, night, or evening, as this is Zero, and I'll catch you all on the next one.